Hello, welcome back. I'm Tonya from Tonya's Witchy Kitchen. How are you doing today? Not too bad. It's really good to see you. So it is November. Is your tree up yet? Do you put a tree up? I know not everybody puts a tree up, so yeah. But before I was married, my husband was one of those people who didn't think you put a tree up until like the week before Christmas, and we had always put it up in December. I think it started December, for the holidays. And he's just backfired, and last year him and my oldest son put the tree up the start of October, and just the lights, because I was like, I'm not pulling decorations out, forget it. But it was up so long that by the time we got around to putting decorations on it, we had a hard time getting the kids to do it. And I just told him, I said, that was, you don't put the tree up in October. I mean, there's people who leave it up all year round and put their own decorations on and change it out for the holidays. But, which is great. We don't have space for that, but we make do for that short time. But yeah, I'm just dreading. I'm sure it'll be up soon here. Before Thanksgiving. Yes, it will. In all its glory, with its lights and its chaos. And I am the one who takes it down because so all the kids have an ornament for each year that they pick out and whatever. And my boys are getting bad though. My youngest still enjoys picking out an ornament. My middle son, he's such a teenage turd. It's like, whatever, just buy me whatever. And it's like, well, I want to buy you something you want, But yeah, so I make sure that they are written down, like what year they got them, and repackaged into their own box, so that the next year when we decorate the tree, they get to put their ornaments on the tree. And when my girls moved out, it was super sad because they took their ornaments with them, and it was like, oh, this really sucks. Do you have a real tree? We don't have a real tree. My husband would love a real tree, but I'm not. Yeah, it's lampoons all over again, Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I don't know. It's a thing. It's a thing. But yeah, if you put a tree up, when do you put a tree up? When do you take it down? I do not take mine down till middle of January. Somewhere in there. End of January. Because technically, for Catholics, the Christmas season only starts on the 24th. So I used to leave it up through the Three Kings, which is like January 6th. I think it's January 6th in there. But there's still a couple weeks of the Christmas season. Okay, so technically I can leave it up as long as I want. I don't have to take it down right away, which my husband thinks I should do. And I'm thinking, well, you put it up early so I can take it down late. Works for me, right? So when do you take it down? Anyway, moving along. Have you subscribed to the email yet? Go to tonyaswitchykitchen.com and subscribe to the email so you get a good code for a huge discount off for shopping this holiday season. And what are we doing? Snowflake Kisses. Snowflake Kisses. That is the soap bar today. This is probably the one out of all of them that didn't turn out the way I wanted. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just not what I wanted. But anyway, yeah, we'll see what that disaster is. Anyway, 3 things. Dream big. Be true to you. You are worth it. Let's go check out this Snowflake Kisses. Okay, this is my coconut hydrosol I made a while back. And there's so many things going on with this soap. It's unbelievable. So I have my fragrance in the kaolin clay. This is some peppermint soap I had cut up, shaved, about an ounce. Okay. And then that is some oil, just poured off from my oils. Okay. That's an ounce. And I'm going to add about half a teaspoon, I think, of the Snowflake Sparkle Mica from Brambleberry. That is actually, I'm hoping to put it in my soap, do a bowl swirl, and have that swirl out all throughout the soap. Obviously, you'll see. It's about 5% of the batch. And then these are my snowflakes that we made the other day, called processed soap. And I'm putting a little bit of the snowflake mica in the bag. And then what I'm going to do is take them out of the mold and shake them up so they're covered with the mica. So in taking them out of the mold, they actually sat there for 2 days. And they were still softer than I expected because the other soap, the cranberry soap we had cut, and it was nice and solid, where I suppose not working with these as much, there was no fragrance. They weren't, beat constantly, like the other soap was. They were softer. So I found that a little bit interesting on that note. But anyway, I'm not going to make you watch me unmold those. I put the mic in the bag. I put some of them in the bag. I could have put more in the bag. I don't know. I was worried about them sticking and stuff. But I just stick them in a little Ziploc bag, and then I just shake them up really well. And then voila. I had glitter all over. I had mica floating all over my kitchen, let me tell you. I wasn't shaking them in the bag even. See? Look at that. Isn't that pretty? It might be a little hard to see. But yeah, there was just so much going on with the soap. I have been planning the soap since, I don't know when. Last winter, it was a thought, and I actually spent money and bought the molds, especially for this project. I wanted little baby snowflakes, and, trying to find what you want sometimes is just at a reasonable price. Is sometimes a pain in the butt. But anyway, yeah, so, shook the heck out of all of them, add a little more mica. That's how I bedazzle my embeds. And I do recycle the bag because I didn't have a bag. That was funny, with snowflake mica in it. And so, but yeah, reuse, recycle, right? If you can, you can. So anyway, yeah, there's just so much going on. So my thought process in this is the shaved soap to the side is going to be little, almost like a blizzard, but not quite. So there'll be the white specks, right? Like maybe you're looking up at the sky and there's specks. And then the mica in the oil will really swirl and hopefully give it a beautiful mica line in there that I wouldn't be able to create myself. You know what I'm saying? Because the soap will absorb the oils. That's 5% of the overall batch, which is the super fat. So technically, I'm adding the super fat to this after it comes to trace, if you want to think of it that way. I can't remember. I think you can go a little higher with the oils, but I decided to just test it right there. And the blue, I am putting my micas into the oils because I'm only using, it's only one color. So that was the Indigo Girls from Mad Micas. And then a little bit of black oxide. Such a cool color, huh? Not that you can see it because there's bubbles over it. And that is why we do not use our immersion blenders for food. Because I'm telling, that was chunky, wow. But because you cannot get everything out of that stick. Like, I wash it as best as I can, and I'm sorry, every once in a while, I get bubbles. I know it's from the immersion blender. because there's soap somewhere. I gotta get a new one, but I had to use my other one to make, because my husband, the other one died. My kitchen one died. That's a crappy one anyway that my husband bought me. But, so I had to get a new one. Well, he needed it. Well, he didn't need it. He's a guy. But, so I had to give him my spare one, because I was waiting for this one to die, because it's kind of on its deathbed. But anyway. Yes, I added a little more mica because I didn't like how it wasn't. I wanted it more blue gray, not gray. I wanted more blue gray, but we'll see how this turns out. My fragrance oil and kale and clay are right there. So this color is supposed to discolor to a tan. It's supposed to discolor the soap to a tan. Okay, and so I was hoping that I had enough color in there that it would, not discolor to something ugly, which is possible. This whole, I did great in art class, and color wheels I excelled at that, but I tell you, mixing soaps is that's a totally different science. Ugh. Okay, so this is thicker, okay? This is not even close to emulsion. It is a thicker trace, for lack of a better word, because I need it to hold the soap shavings suspended. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to sink to the bottom. I don't want them to, float. I don't think they'd float. But, I want them all mixed up, and it needs to be thicker to hold that up. Okay? And so for the little bit of, oh yeah, I'm an idiot. I got so excited to pour this in. For the little bit of a bowl swirl, right? That's what, that's the pour we're doing, even though it's just mica and oil. And so it was a little thick for the mica, yeah, but it's okay. We'll deal. We're good. I'm going to pour that into the mold when I find my mold. And yeah, it was chunky. I kind of forgot about the soap shavings when I poured it, and it was like, that's chunky, super chunky. And then I had too much soap, so I'm going to show you something really cool. Hopefully it works. Show you something cool with that leftover soap tomorrow. I have something I want to try. But yeah, I had an extra ounce of soap shavings, and then that were already dried and cured and whatever. And then put a little bit of mica down, Snowflake mica. And we're going to give it a little swirly swirl with the stick. I don't know why. That was dumb, because that was like an impromptu thing. Not the swirly swirl, but the whole impromptu thing. And then come the snowflakes. And I suck at embeds, especially placing them, like cupcakes I'm fine. This thing was like, you'll see. Maybe it doesn't matter, because once you cut them, you won't see how they were laid out. But for me, it was like, oh, this is, yeah. I'm more of I was trying to be more of a organized, looks good from the top and not like it was planned and, balanced properly, but whatever. It's a thing. Whatever. Yeah, so I was trying to see like where my lines were, how this was gonna work. Yeah, there was so much into the soap. Like, it was crazy. I was so worried it wasn't gonna like turn out, if you wanna say it that way. So I do have I did make a little, use some of the soap up and put it into my little baby dragon mold, just because it's fun. But the other stuff I'm going to put in that glass jar, and I'm going to saran wrap it really good, and I'm going to leave it overnight. to set up and go through its little saponification process. A little bit more. Okay. In the little bowl. And then I'll show you later what I was doing with it. If it works out. If it doesn't work out, well, I'll wash dishes with it then. Because it'll still be soap. Okay, don't laugh at my mold. I'm trying to straighten it out. My husband hasn't made me a mold box yet, but I am putting the bio glitter is what I was supposed to put on in the first place. And I'm hoping that my colors do change and darken up a little bit, and that you will be able to see the glitter on there. And to the cut. So, yeah, the outside is oily. I should have left it in the mold another day. This outside is what the inside was supposed to look like. So, in fact of looking at this, I definitely need to either make sure, like do a drop swirl with the oil, so it stays in the soap, or just take a little bit of soap and add a crap ton of mica to it. Give it a white swirl in there. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not, I mean the little white, the little white soap flakes in there, they do give it a little bit of a blizzard look. I was really hoping that this would be a lot darker. And, maybe black would have been a better color. I don't know. Memos for next time I make this. It was fun. I had fun doing this. Like I said, there was a lot going on with the soap. Just a ton of stuff, except the outside is what I wanted the inside to look like, with the mica. But, life isn't fair, Some of us have that ability to make all our soaps pretty, and some of us have the ability to squeak by. I mean, it's soap. It if nobody knew any different, it smells great. There's a few curly cues in there, kind of cute. But yeah, so for next, those sides are killing me. It's like, that's what the middle was supposed to look like. Yeah, it was a little thick. I should have probably swirled it a little bit more in the bowl, but it was thick enough to hold up those, the little shaved soap, and that's what I needed, because I didn't want them all sitting on the bottom. It's not quite a blizzard, a blizzard at dawn. I don't know. The blue's all wrong. Yeah. What do you do? At least it's not green, right? That would have been harder to explain. Green soap. Oh, man. Oh, and about the embeds. Because they were cold processed, I didn't have to worry about my wire cutter. If you make embeds out of melt and pour, you really don't want to cut them with your wire cutter, even a big soap cutter, because you can ruin it. Okay, now to the surprise. I really do question why I'm wearing gloves here. I did it because when I watched this girl, Mrs. Soap and Clay, make soap dough, I will give her the credit because she's the first one I've seen do it. She always wears gloves and stuff like that, but I really questioned it because I'm like, I just handled that other soap without gloves. And this is from the same batch. It's set the same amount of time overnight. I guess it wasn't in contact with the air, so maybe that has something to do with it. But anyway, this is what they call soap dough. Did you know there was such a thing called soap dough? Yeah, so you just basically maneuver it like Play-Doh, and you can make all these cute little things if you have the capability. I was never much of a Play-Doh person because I hated the way it dried on the table. Ooh, yeah. That, and I had a cousin who ate it, so it was a good thing that my mom made Play-Doh for us, because, you know, then it was safe to eat. Oh, yeah. But anyway, so you can use it, and you can use it in the molds. Okay, so like if you have extras, and you can color it too. Like just add mica and work it in like you're working more flour or something. Like I could have done this, and I wasn't thinking, you guys. And I could have just used soap dough to make my snowflakes. And then you just let it out in the open air to cure, just like you do soap. You can make balls for the top of cupcakes. You can make, you know, whatever your little heart desires. But, and as long as you keep it in plastic wrap and in a airtight container, it'll stay that way because the water doesn't leak out, you know? Isn't that cool? It's just like, oh, that's so freaking neat. I've never made it before. I've always wanted to. And since I had this extra, it was like, oh, I can make soap dough. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's just a little piece. But I just thought you'd think that was really cool. Like, it's something I had never heard of till, well, the last year or so. But, oh, and there's my little baby dragon. Maybe do you want to see him? Yeah. But my hands are all ishy, but there you go. And there's some fragrance notes for you. Just because we all smell differently, I swear. But anyway, that is Snowflake Kisses. I hope you had a good time. Thank you for dropping by. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.